Hi guys, it's happy homebrew, happy eating. Right, it's that time of year again, scrumpy making. So they're a bit earlier this year, which is good. It seems to have been, apart from a disastrous year with the with COVID, it's been a really good year for hard fruits and soft fruits from what I can see. So this is early, so we should do at least hopefully another 2, maybe 3 of these pressings. That's providing all the equipment works right. So this is the sort of quantity of apples, and out of that we'll probably get, I'm hoping, for about 5 gallons of juice. Now this is my scratter, which I've showed you before. So what I've done is an aluminium pan or a steel pan. In it I've put a wooden base, and then in the centre of that there is a hole drilled, and there is a socket set, an old socket set put into there just as a steel thing. If you don't do that, you just drill a hole and leave it wood, then as the blades are spinning, it'll just get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and the thing will start to wobble about the blade. That's the blade, which is raised, but not too far raised off the base. It's about as big as my finger. If you do this blade too high, you'll end up with the apples dropping underneath, and when this is spinning, it won't chop the apples. That little piece there sits into that little socket set and keeps it central. It then goes to a lid which fits over the top, and then on the side of the lids I've put 2 bolts, as you can see, that drop in between these 2 handles on the side of the pan, and that stops when it kicks, that stops it from kicking. Okay, and that's all attached to a big drill. So basically it's a giant food processor. So all we do is we drop the apples into that, and I'll show you it working, and it works like a dream. Now I'm going to show you the press. Well, this is basically the press, and we haven't even applied any pressure. So we've got these things here, Hessian sacks, which are gardening sacks, which we've cut open and we just use as make like a cake. In each one of these cakes we put about 15 apples, smashed apples. When I say 15, I'm talking approximately. If you put too many apples in per sack, then you'll just be trying to compact a great glob of apples, and it doesn't matter how much pressure you put on, you won't press them properly. In between each cake, which is an individual sack, there are slats of wood. This is important, otherwise again the cakes just get compressed into each other, and it's just too much for the press to do. It won't compress them properly. I've made a big steel plate on top, which is just 12mm with plate over the top, and that's the idea of that, is to, when we press, is to evenly distribute the pressure which we apply via a 10-ton car jack. Okay, so that just even distributes the pressure. This is a wooden tray that we made with a pipe. That's very simple, but you need to support that on something. You can use a big block of wood, but what I used, and what we found was the easiest, was just a concrete slab. So basically the pressing is between that metal and that concrete slab. So anything from between here and here is just going to get pressed, whatever it is, including your hand if you're not careful. All right. And as you can see, we've got juice coming out of here straight away. We haven't even put any pressure on yet. So we're hoping this is going to work. And we do about 5 or 6 cakes. Obviously you can't do too many cakes, because then you won't be able to get it underneath. The construction of this is basically just a very simple square frame, as you can see, and the main beam across the top is an old railway sleeper, which I've got for next to nothing. I found on the side of the road actually. So the pieces of wood were just from the local DIY. So I reckon that's probably cost me 20-30 quid. A few man hours, but that's all. But this is a big press. You haven't got to go to this extent, because this is a feature in the garden as well. Okay, Roddy's going to assemble the top part now. My beautiful assistant. Right, now as you can see, that's another thing which I made. Right, which again is just 12mm round, and it's angled, and then the idea of that is just to distribute the power of the press, the power of the car jack, which is going to go on there, just to press it down so it's evenly distributed, so you're pushing out on the sides basically, otherwise you don't get enough compression. Okay guys, so I'm going to be showing you that working in a bit, and I'll show you the scratter working. Okay, but if you want to make cider in decent quantities, then that's the sort of equipment you need to sort of be making, and it's not hard. Have a go. It's took us a few years, to be honest, to get to this stage, but it's well worth it. Okay, cheers, ta-da.